CorText it's an online tool. It works on a server in a university. It's a tool made by a French team, so it's hosted on the server on their university in France. You can see that here. One of the cool things with it is that it deals with Danish. Here at the TantLab, we have actually paid them a few years ago, even before I was at the TantLab, so that they implement the Danish language in their algorithms. And basically, CorText compiles state-of-the-art methods that you could very well run in Python in a notebook if you know how to parameterize them and so on. But this requires you to go into the experience of coding, which not everyone wants. So what they have done essentially is offer those algorithms through their platform to everyone. And so it adds this graphic user interface layer to those algorithms, but else basically what you will be doing is picking some algorithms and assembling them. And some of the algorithms are actually their own algorithms. So to use CorText, and you can go. So first of all, you can Google them. You see the URL here. It's without the e. It's not like core text. It's more like the brain. CorText. That's the joke. And you have their website. Their website has a lot of stuff that you can read. But basically, to use the tool, you have to click on CorText Manager from the website. This is the front page of the website, and in the menu you have CorText Manager. And this is basically where you use the tool. I have beforehand created a login and password, but if it's your first time, you will have to create a login and password. You have to register to the platform. So I'm going to connect. Maybe it's going to ask me to log in. I don't remember, or maybe it's automatic. And yeah, no, it asks me to log in. There are a few glitches here and there. That's a software developed by a research team, right? Not a company. So we have to live with it and so on. Okay. So what you can see here is that I already have some stuff in my workspace. If it's you and if it's your first time, this is going to be empty. And basically, you have the notion of projects, which you can create and so on. And within a project, you can do a number of things. So each of those steps is one of the things that has been done. It has some inputs and some outputs. Basically, it's one run of one given algorithm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project. And you will see me a little bit hesitate here because it's been a long time. It's been a few months since I used CorText. I hope I will remember correctly. But yeah, you have to go through the interface. So to create a project, I'm going to call this MDO2 demo 2026. I type this in this top field, create project, and this is going to create an empty project. So this is for us. And to do anything with CorText, you need to upload data. And the data will go on the server in a encrypted. And this is GDPR compliant. But if you want more info on that, you can just read their website. Ultimately, it's up to you to assess whether you think this is GDPR compliant or not. Yeah, but it's considered secured by the researchers. So I'm going to click here. This opens this panel, upload file, and I'm going to go fetch a file on my hard drive. I'm going to take this one, which is a simple data file that I will use throughout different demos here. It's a CSV. It's a list of papers about climate change. I use that because the data is really clean, and it's not too big, so we can see a few things. But yeah, you could upload whatever you have, obviously. So now the file has been uploaded, and it is in this little box, and this box embodies that the project and CorText now they know this file and in the fact that it has been uploaded. So when you hover the mouse cursor over it, you can do a number of things. You can download it again, you can view it, and you can delete it. And you could also delete the entire thing if most things stuck here. So I'm just going to click here to see what the file looks like. And basically you have a simple viewer. I'm just going to show it to you quickly. So you have a list of authors, and you see some of the rows. There are 200 rows in this case. Authors, and it looks like it doesn't show. Oh no, okay, this stuff is coming after. I don't know what is going on too much, but title of the paper, year of the paper, source title, so where the venue or the journal where the paper was published, blah 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 blah. Affiliations of the authors. Let me skip that. And I think I should have here somewhere also the abstract, which could be, so I could, yeah, I have the abstract of the paper. This was downloaded from a database of papers like Scopus. I like this file because it has some unstructured data, which is this text, the text of the abstract. We could also do something with the titles, but it also has some structured data like the year of publication, for example. Okay, so my file is here, and then I need to do something with it. So I need to start a script. So I'm going to click here on Start Script. And then I am proposed a list of things to do, and I have to navigate this. So basically, you will follow the same kind of steps I am doing. If you're really an expert at CorText, there are advanced stuff you can do. You need to read the documentation if you want to do that. And I'm going to do just simple things like topic modeling and a network of extracted terms. You kind of have to have an idea of what to do here. I'm going to leave that for another time, and together we can see when we are in a data sprint situation what kind of things you could do and how you could change the settings. I'm going to focus here on how you do that. So the first thing you need to do is to parse the data set. So it's not enough that you have uploaded it, you need to parse it. So I'm going to do that first, data parsing. And then I need to select a file. And basically, I need to find here my file. I need to remember how it's called in order to search for it. So I started typing the name. Now it finds it. This is not super economic, but that's how it works in CorText. So the corpus is selected. So the data set is selected. This is the name of the job. So that task is going to be executed on the server. And then you have a few things you could edit. Always pay attention to that. If there is something you don't understand, leave it as it is. But you will see that there are things you understand. Here, the corpus format is a CSV. So I need to find CSV here in the list. And as you can see, you could upload a different number of things. There are different formats it could read. I'm going to go CSV. Okay. It is a default CSV. If certain columns have multiple values, please indicate the intra-field separator. This is technically the case. I am just going to ignore that, but authors are separated by a comma. The thing is, in this file, the multiple values are separated by a different separator depending on the column. So I'm just going to ignore this. Yeah. Good. Start script. And once I start this script, this should be so fast. But basically, it goes into a list of scripts that are currently running, and you will see the task when it's completed. So the task is here on the top left, and whatever task you launch is going to stack here, and the load bar is the time it takes on the server, and when it's full, it's going to be done. So you can see that the task is also here, and it is not yet done, and the flag will let me know if it has been going successfully, and it will be green, or if there was an error, and then it's going to be red. And all you will do in CorText is that kind of thing, that loop, where you take something, you process it, and you're going to have the output and see it. So you run those tasks one after the other. The next step will be, once this is done, I will first take a look at it just to double check that it has been parsed correctly so that I can use it. If not, then we have an issue. Okay, now it's done. It's green. I have a database now. And I would like to see the database. You cannot see the database directly, but you can do it if you create a viewer. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to start a script. It's a little bit slow, as you can see, but don't click many times. Just click once and be patient. And then I'm going to use Corpus Explorer. So I can see the database that way. So that's not much, but yeah, now I can select my database You see the database because it's a .db now. Good. And what fields do I want to know? I could see all of the fields, but I'm just going to check the stuff that makes sense to me here. I want to see the title, the year, and I don't know, the source maybe. Where's source title? I don't know actually the difference. I'm going to check the two of them. And I could look at the abstract, but I'm not going to do that now. And I'm going to just show 10 of them. I don't need to see more. Okay, show me that. So I have clicked, I wait. As you can see on top here, it's loading. I don't click many times, I just wait. No. The task will be stacked here. Yes, here we go. And once this will be done, I will be able to take a look at the data. But I already know that it's working because it has proposed to me the actual good titles of the column. So something that could happen is that the column separator, that here was the comma, was something else like the semicolon. You know that those kinds of problems with the CSV. If this had happened, the title of the columns as proposed in the settings would be completely different. But here they're good. So it has created this these different boxes, and basically the purpose here is for me to look at this thing reader.html, and I'm going to go here on the right and click on the eye, and this is going to open a new window, and then I can see the stuff. Okay, so I see what's the difference between source and source title. So source is always Scopus, but source title is the name of the journal. So it was good to see. Yeah, so you have this interface that is basically, CorText has generated an HTML page that contains a snapshot of the data. Here I just have 10 entries. Okay, so that was not super interesting, but I double checked that it worked. And now what I'm going to do is to do first topic modeling. So start script. I'm going to now fish for a topic modeling script. So you have to look at all of this. And by the way, you can try stuff that you would be interested in. Topic modeling in analysis. Okay, game on. And then I need to click on the DB. That's why we needed to create this database and parse the corpus in the first place. What are the fields containing the text? It's going to be the abstract, and I could also add the title if I wanted to. I'm just going to do that on the abstract. How many topics do I want? So this is going to be using latent directed allocation, LDA, whatever. If you don't know what that is, this algorithm requires you to tell how many topics you want. I'm going to go for, I don't know, 15, and I expect I am overshooting a little bit. Maybe that's a lot, maybe 10 was fine. I expect some of those topics to be bad, and I will just ignore them, and I will just keep the good ones. So maybe if I ask for 10, I will find 6, 7 that are good to me. So that's how I would set this. And then, yeah, how many maximum topics per document? 3, yes, maybe, or they are short, maybe 2 topics. Yeah, text cleaning, something super important in text cleaning. That is where if your documents are in Danish, you should check Danish here. That's the only case you want to, I mean, the rest you can see, but basically here in my case, it's in English, but mind this, you have some parameters to LDA. You just ignore the settings you don't know. CorText has good default settings. I'm just gonna run it now, start script. And now the LDA is going to run. It's a little bit heavier to run, I assume. So it's going to take maybe a little bit more time. We'll see. But then I should obtain basically a little bundle with a number of things. I should get a visualization of my topics, which is one of the things I would like to see. And then typically, if I'm not happy with that, I would redo it. And then I will also get the data, because maybe I want to download the data. Now that I have the topics, I want to know what the topics are for each document. So it's done now. This is my little bundle. First, I am going to look at what we have with this HTML. So I'm going to click on the little eye. Here it is. So I'm not going to spend too much time about this. Once again, about which algorithms to use and how to analyze them is something we can discuss with each other. But essentially, the topics are here in this space. You can see that if they are close, like those two, they tend to be similar. If they are far apart, like number 4, number 5, then they are dissimilar. you can see the size of the topics by the size of the circles. So you have an idea of which kind of topics you have. This is kind of like a semantic map of the topics. And if you go on a topic, you can see what it is made of. And there has been some stemming going on. So the words, as you can read them on the right here, those words are stems. So you have to imagine that they could have different terminations. So vulner, for example, would be like vulnerable. And yeah, analyze is like analyzing, analysis, and so on. So this is vulnerable data, risk analysis, indication, environment, social project, framework, scale. So these are, you can get an idea of what this topic is. Actually, you could kind of try to name it, for example, if you wanted it to make sense to you. And then you can go into another topic, forest, region, carbon, perform, tree. Okay, you see that it's different. This one is more about forest and trees and stuff. And yeah, I'm not going to go too much further into this, but you can analyze this by looking further into the words. In this algorithm, one word can be in multiple topics at the same time. Yeah, so this is the part where you would basically assess if you're happy with the topics, if they make sense to you, and potentially rerun it with a different setting. So for example, run it with more or less topics and so on and so forth. There is also, let's look at the rest of the bundle, convergence likelihood. It's a PDF. Show me the PDF and you could download it. It's a chart. I don't know. It looks empty to me. I don't know what is going on. Maybe I don't have enough data and we need to read the documentation. And then there is LDA-based prototype text, which weirdly, I can't read it. Show that to me. Okay. I don't know exactly what that is, but I have the text. Maybe those are the models. I don't know. I would need to look at the documentation. Where is my data? The data has been added to the database now. So basically, if I go back to, I mean, this is my project. And if I run again the corpus exploration, so how do I do this? I will delete this corpus explorer. And I'm going to do a new one. Start script, corpus explorer, database. And now I want to see the title of the paper, the year, like before. And now I will see more columns. These have been added by the topic modeling. I see the projection cluster. Yeah. And I'm going to check those two. Show me everything. Do the script. And then I will be able to see the data. And you can also this way export your data as a CSV if you want to. Okay, corpus reader is here. Show it to me. Yes, title, year. And then you can see the topic or the topics that have been created. And the topics have one number that is arbitrary, but to make it a little bit more palatable to you, they add some of the key or the most occurrent words, the words that appear the most in the topic. So this is one topic. It's the topic number 10, and the top words are energy, build, design, power, and system. And sometimes you may have two topics, and I ask 2 maximum, but I could have 2, 3, depending on the settings you have. Here, max 2. These 3 little stars represent an internal separator in CorText. So this document here, Entangled Judgment, is actually in topic 10 and in topic 1, or those 2 topics are associated with the document. And they are actually associated with the percentage that is here. 76% for the topic 10 and 22% for topic 1. So it matches topic 1, but a little bit less than it does the topic 10, right? So that's where you could have let me show everything. Yeah. Then you have your data and you can see in what topics they are. And the idea would be that you take that out and you do something else with it. You plot it in Tableau or something else. Yeah, I hope the logic is good, is clear to you. I am going to show you one other thing. So start script. And then I want to make a network of extracted keywords, which is one kind of semantic map that CorText can do. And this is in 2 steps. First, I need to extract the terms. And second, I need to map them. So first, I'm going to go with terms extraction, but you could instead use named entity recognizer. And I'm going to go with a text extraction. I select my database. I check. The first setting is where are the textual fields? Abstract. I will add yes, I will add title this time. I don't know why. Why not? Okay. I will keep everything by default. I will just always remember to double check the language. Sometimes the language is here on this tab, but sometimes it's in another tab. In this case, it is in this tab. If you don't choose the right language, you will have issues. The rest, you can look at the different settings and you can tinker with them. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to go with it. So what this will do is extract the keywords that appear the most in my abstracts and titles. And then I will make a network with that. So the same as for topic modeling, what I am creating here will add columns to the database. I could also go through creating a new Corpus Explorer, and then I would see those new columns again. I'm not going to do it, but that would be the logic. Okay, this is done. Actually, I could look at this list, which is a TSV, so it's a little bit like a CSV, but the separator is the tabulation. So you can see the stems, and sometimes, let me zoom in. So these are the actual words, and this is how they are stemmed. And sometimes you have multiple forms. So for example, convect precipite stratiform, what does this mean? Well, typically it means convective and stratiform precipitation, but it may also mean stratiform and convective precipitation, and stratiform than the convective precipitation, different versions of the same thing. This is really useful. You can double check this. You could also edit it if you wanted to. I'm going to skip over that. But as you can see, it's doing pretty advanced stuff. Now I'm going to use that to make a network. So I'm starting a script again. And I should have network mapping in analysis. That's the one I want. Checking this. And then I will have to pick the column that corresponds to the term. So I will have to search for it. So I will make a network mapping of first kind of nodes, terms, good. And what I would like to, so I could make a network of terms connected to, I don't know, the papers themselves identified as a title. It would be like a two-mode network. What I want to do is the terms connected to the terms. So the logic here, as I want the terms, I want a network of terms. So there is only one kind of node, and it's the terms. So terms. I'm going to keep all the rest by default, but you have more advanced stuff. You could choose, for example, which kind of community detection algorithm you want. I'm going to leave it as it is, just run the script. And I will obtain a network that I could download and visualize in Giphy, but I could also just look at it as it is now. And the idea would typically be that if I am not satisfied with it, I would change the settings and do it again. Okay, good. So it's done. In this little bundle, you have two folders. I don't remember what is in each of them. This one has a GXF, so this is for downloading. And the other one has like a PDF. So I'm going to look at the PDF. And that's one way you can see the network. And you can see it's kind of like topics. It should be relatively coherent with the topic modeling we've done before, but technically it's a different process. So it could be something else. So you see them here. You see the stems. And if you want to, you remember those terms we've seen them before. If you want to see what they actually mean, what they call the main form, you could go to see that. You have the same thing in SVG if you want to put that into a software. And the GXF, you could download it, but if you click on the eye, it's going to open on an online interface. So you can also just look at it this way. And basically, that's what I propose you to do with the CorText. That's how you would do that. Those are the main modules I recommend to you and how they work.